Welcome back to another episode of The Single Season. On this show, I help singles navigate sometimes the treacherous waters of dating and relationships. If you are interested in being on the show, all you have to do is go to my website, alignwithallison.com, or book a private consultation. Today, we have Joanna, who is struggling with kind of dropping that signal that she's available and for gentlemen to actually come over and approach her. So let's welcome Joanna onto the show. Joanna.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So we were talking earlier, and you shared with me that you're having a little bit of a struggle in regards to gentlemen approaching you and you kind of giving off the energy, the air that you are available and you want to be approached. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, what's going on?
Okay, so I do have an older brother, and he has a motto of if you look at me twice, I'm coming over when he's out and about or whatnot. So if I'm out and about at go to a bar or go have dinner or whatnot, and I see a gentleman looking or I look at him, I might look twice or give like a little high wave or something like that to make it comfortable, like, hey, it's open, you can approach. And you'll get the walk by or nothing at all, or you'll get a wave back and that's about it. Or if I'm out in the store or someplace, I'll get the compliments like, oh, you look good or your body's nice. But it's never like, hey, I'd like to take you out or can we get to know each other or nothing like that. So I'm like, okay, am I too strong in in my approaches, my energy? I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so Joanna, where are you from? I detect an accent.
Oh, I'm actually right out here by Los Angeles, California. I'm in San Bernardino, about 30 minutes outside of LA. So born and
Okay.
raised, but my family's from the South.
Okay, good. I heard that southern accent. I heard that twang. Okay. The reason why I mentioned that specifically is because depending on where you are from, and I was just having this conversation, depending on where you are from, sometimes there is an energy that is exuded by the woman. And then sometimes there's a culture in that community from men that will dictate how they are approached. So, for example, my New York ladies, we in the building. You know, sometimes we have a disposition that is not inviting. They call it the resting bee face, right? And so we have to be mindful that we are warm and we are smiling, like literal teeth smiling, because we want to give people the impression that we are approachable. We have to be mindful of our body language, right? Even me, my body language ain't right now. Like if I want to be approached, shoulders back, chest open. If we're walking around crossed arms or giving an impression that we are bothered or annoyed, then people will not approach us. And rightfully so. We want to date people who can read the room. Right? And if you
Right.
look annoyed or if you look frustrated, we're going to get to the next one, which is look busy. That's a big one. Then a reasonable person is going to say, well, that chick is busy. I might make a statement real quick because I can't help myself. She just looks so pretty. But I'm not going to stop her because I'm concerned about being rejected or making her feel uncomfortable. Busyness. You gotta slow down. So I don't know how you rolling out there in LA, but if
Fast.
it's the hustle and bustle of New York City, like where I'm from, what I'm accustomed to, and you running down the aisle so that you can get this quick cereal, and then you're getting in the express line, and then you're running for the bus. Like people are not gonna, they're not gonna stop. They don't want to stop you because that's rude. Clearly, I am not available to speak to you if I am running, if I'm gunning it, if I'm out of here, right? So slowing down is going to make a big difference in being or appearing as approachable. Okay, so that warm smile,
Okay.
the opening of the chest, slowing down. Also, changing where you go. So I'm not sure exactly where you're on the prowl, right? But I need you to be
hmm
mindful of where you are going in your city in order to meet eligible bachelors, because you want to put yourself in a position where a conversation makes sense. If you go into the club or the bar where the music is loud, the conversation doesn't make sense. If you're going to a brunch that's known to have the live DJ, right, where it's more about the music and the dancing than it is about conversation, then you're not positioning yourself to engage in any kind of meaningful way. So you want to put yourself in places and spaces where a conversation makes sense. So what does that look like? Any kind of mixer, any kind. It can be a professional one, whatever industry that you're in. If it's an industry that have men, like if you're a makeup artist,
Mhm.
maybe not that mixer, right? But if it's going to be, if you're in real estate, if you're in business in any kind of way, if you're in medicine, pharmaceuticals, things like that, or if you're not in that industry, you have a friend that is. Hey girl, next time that you're going out to one of those real estate mixers, let me know. I want to come with you. A mixer by default is created for the purpose of mixing, right? So it allows for people to slow down. They know that your purpose there is to get to know people. That is the whole purpose of us going to a mixer.
Okay.
A conference in a male dominated industry. So again, if you're in education, don't go to the teachers conference, right? Maybe you want to go to the building leadership conference where you see more men who tend to be in leadership, but in education, so it makes sense. If you're in nursing, don't go to the nurses conference. Maybe you want to go to the pharmaceutical conference, right? So you have to look up those types of places where the purpose is socializing. The purpose is getting to know each other. The purpose is having communication so that it's natural for you to walk over to a guy and it doesn't have to be romantic in nature. It has the tag that he is a realtor in the Bay Area. Forgive me, I'm just, right? You in
Yes.
California. So that he's a realtor in the Bay and you're looking to expand in the Bay. So you can go over and have a conversation. Then you're going to look down at the ring. Does he have a ring on his finger, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
guys who are good men are going to throw their wife or their children into the conversation so that they can kind of avoid any kind of awkwardness early on, right?
Mhm.
And if he does,
Okay.
great. You'll continue the conversation, then you'll move on to the next person. But that is how you're going to position yourself. So you're going to be mindful of your facial features, right? You're smiling, you're
Mhm.
warm, you're welcoming, your body language, and putting yourself, slowing down and putting yourself in places and spaces where conversation makes sense. Does
Mhm.
it make sense that we can
Okay.
sit here and we can converse? Okay. Now, I know some may say that, I want you to be more mindful of your presentation. So, having your hair done, doing a little bit of
Mhm.
makeup, dressing up a little bit. But I'm sure you have gotten attention, and me too, where we think that we look our worst. We're coming from the gym. We got our
Yes.
scarves on, so I wouldn't even care too much about that. Of course, you don't want to go around looking bummy 24/7, right? If you can spruce up, spruce up. But don't be too concerned about that point. More importantly is
Mhm.
going to be your body language, slowing down, getting off the phone, because if you have headphones in or you're mid
Mhm.
conversation, I don't know about you, but my mama always said, "You don't see me on the phone." That's what we've been taught since childhood.
Right.
You don't interrupt people, right? And so those are things you need to be mindful of. And again, positioning yourself. Your husband, more likely than not, is not going to be a guy who's going to knock on your door. The only people who knock on your door is the Uber Eats man, right? The Amazon man. Then there's going to be the plumber and the electrician. And not to say that they're not worthy of wives, but more likely than not, your husband's not going to knock on your door. He's definitely not going to be delivered in a box. You can't order him
Oh,
off of
that's smart.
Amazon, which means that you have to put yourself out there. And when people use
Mhm.
that phrase out there, many times it's not clear. Like, what do you mean by out there? That's what I mean. Mixers, conferences, social gatherings, someone's game
Mhm.
night, somebody else's baby shower, not the dude that you like, somebody else's baby shower, right? Somebody else's family reunion, somebody else's kickback, somebody else's 40th birthday parties, 25th birthday dinner, retirement party. Like, you have to put yourself
Mhm.
in places and spaces where conversation is the crux of the event. We are here to talk. That's how you're
Mhm.
going to be met by the partner that you deserve.
Okay.
Talk to me more, because I feel like there's a
Okay.
little bit of doubt coming out of you, Joanna. Like, you ain't really believing, you ain't picking up what I'm putting
No,
down.
I'm picking it up with a shovel.
Okay.
You you hit on a couple points. The busyness. I'm always like, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. My schedule full, da da da. Da. So I can see where that's like, oh, well, hey, you look nice, and they keep on moving because I'm like, oh, okay, yes, I'm always on the go. And then I'm in the fitness industry, Los Angeles, of course, and being in the athleisure wear, and I'm at work, I live in do-rags, but my hair stays done underneath there, but it needs to obviously be seen. So,
Yes.
but
Yes.
and getting out of the clubs and going to mixers.
Yep. Mix.
'Cause,
And I mean, the good thing about your industry is that it is male dominated. So there's
yes.
obviously a fair amount of female representation and participation, but it's still male dominated. So you are in a position to go to those events, which would be to your professional benefit anyway, right? You're
Yes.
going to learn, different techniques in whatever, how to grow your business, how to do this, how to do that, whatever new machinery is out there, whatever new, I don't know, work with me, like
Mm-hmm.
nutrient stuff, all that kind
Yes.
of things, right? You go to any kind of nutritional events, like it's already in your professional benefit and development anyway. And then by
Yes.
default, you could be found by the partner that you deserve. So we have to put ourselves in that position of slowing down and going in places and spaces where we're having conversation. And then also, even though you might come across the guy who has the ring on, and so your intention is not to move forward with him, he got a brother, he got some friends, he has a
Oh,
business
it's
partner, he has a frat bro, right? He's super young,
right.
he got his daddy, and his daddy fit too, right? And his
Hey.
daddy divorced from his mama 10 years ago, so he's ready. So it's not only about doing the approaching to people that you are attracted to and would like to date specifically. Rubbing shoulders with like minded people is going to expand your general networking circle. And again, that's a win for you professionally. That's a win for you in terms of your friendships. And again, it could be what's the 8 degrees of separation? It's not
Yes.
that guy, it's not that girl that you met, it's that girl's brother's best friend. And you got somebody who can co-sign, yeah, girl, I went to college with him. He's a real solid guy. He's this, he has this going on. He's a Christian man. He's doing well in his business. He's respectful of women. He don't have no children. I know that for a
Mm-hmm.
fact. He ain't married. I know that for a fact. So that's a win that you can meet
Okay.
people through other people. So you got to get out there. You have to make it your business to be socializing and in those spaces.
Okay. I appreciate your
Literally and
pointers.
figuratively, make it your business and make it your business.
Okay. I
Make
appreciate you. Thank
sense?
you. It
You're
does.
welcome. You're welcome. What was you gonna say? Go ahead, Joanna.
Oh no. No. I was just saying I appreciate your pointers. I'm actually gonna put them into action this weekend. We have an event coming up this weekend, so we'll see.
Yes, we'll see. Now, I do want to make one last point. I mentioned a little bit before, but I want to bring it back. The clothing, right? So if
Hmm.
you're in fitness, I would imagine that you probably have an amazing physique, right?
Yes.
All right, so show it off. Show off those legs. Like, make sure that
Yeah.
people are seeing. I don't want you to only do the long sleeve shirt, the long sleeve pants. Like, you can use that athleisure wear. Is that the way that you put it? Right? The
Yes.
athletic
Yes.
clothing. You can do that, and that's fine. You can still look sexy and also attract that partner.
You're very correct.
Yeah. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit more about some of the challenges that you're facing, maybe as a Southern girl in California. Because I have to tell you, based on my experience, Southern California and Miami are the hardest marketplaces. I hate using that term because it sounds like so animalistic, but marketplaces for dating.
Yes.
So tell me about it. Has there been like a culture shock or any kind of issues in that regard?
Um, I f- I find that men tend to like to be more approached out here, but they tend to already have either counterparts or situationships that's going on. I'm not with the drama. Um, I like the not what is it? Like the men opening the doors and
Oh,
oh, can
chivalry.
you yes, chivalry. So, like, I'll wait outside the door, like, I see that we're both about to enter, I'll wait to see if you're gonna open it, and you're standing there waiting for me to open. I'm like, "Okay, well, this is backwards." Like, so, wanting the man to be the man so that I can be the woman is hard out here. I haven't came across that a lot.
Okay.
So,
So this is an important point that you bring up, right? So you're looking for something that's a
mhm,
little bit more traditional,
yes.
right? They're those traditional roles. Now, I got to
Mhm,
forewarn you because this is an issue that many times both sexes are looking for traditional roles to be fulfilled when it's to their benefit. And then when that
mhm,
traditional role is not necessarily to their benefit, they're like, we live in a modern society, we both got to cook. We live in a modern society, we both got to clean. But why you didn't open my
mhm,
door? And why you didn't ring my bell? And why you're not paying for all of the dates, right? So there needs to be some
mhm,
balance. Now, I'm not saying that you need to give up on what your expectations are in terms of chivalry, but there has to be a little bit of a give and take. If you want that traditional man, he's going to have traditional expectations of you, Joanna. Are you prepared to fulfill some of those less desirable traditional expectations of women?
I actually look forward to it. I love cooking. Like every dinner, you're gonna have like your dessert. You're gonna have your breakfast. Your coffee's ready when you wake up. When you come home, your clothes is on the bed. Like kids are outside playing. You don't have to worry about that. Like it's. I love. That's my thing. That's what I do. That's how I show my love. So like, if you're that person, that's what you're. It's not like you do that, I do. It's just the house, it's mine. Like everything's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. You got the bills, wonderful. Need a little extra. Like if we go on a date, I'll I'll do the tip. You know what I mean? Like still, because it might be an expensive date. We out here towards LA, but that's what I look forward to. I love doing laundry. I love cooking. Like that's my thing.
Okay, good.
So
So then now, what we might want to consider is that you are targeting gentlemen from the South who may have relocated to LA or the LA area recently, because we cannot have an expectation, if that's the culture, we can't have an expectation that we're going to disrupt their culture. Instead, we need
mhm,
to adapt. So there's two adaptations that we can do. Adaptation number one is that you are going to follow their lead and they're not as traditional as you would like, which that's not a desirable adaptation, right? Adaptation
mhm,
number two is that you are going to target people who have a similar cultural upbringing as you. So what can you do? What you might want to consider, you're going to go on Facebook and you're gonna look for where in the South you said you're from? You didn't say.
El Paso,
Okay, so so you
Texas.
might want to see look up like Texans in LA. There is a Facebook for everything. For everything, there's a Facebook group, right? So Texans in LA, right? And then you should be
Mhm.
attending the events, networking on those types of groups so that you can find someone who is in alignment with you. And you might want to join I don't know, South, I don't know, what do you call it? Like the other places in the South, people,
Mhm.
Alabamians, I don't know what the hell you call those, right? Any other kind of southern folks in LA. Try and find all of those groups. 'Cause at the end of the day, they're all in LA already. So it doesn't matter which southern state they're from,
Right.
but you're looking for southern values on the West Coast. The good thing is that it's a melting pot like New York, right? So you're gonna find
Mhm.
every type of human being in the LA area. So it's not like you're in Rhode Island asking for people to have Southern roots and Southern culture and Southern values. You're in LA, so it's not that
Right.
bad. But you might want to be a little bit more targeted. That way, this is not a whole explanation of, well, where I'm from, the expectation is
Mhm.
that men do this and women do that. F that. What you're gonna do is you're in LA. There are millions of people, and I'm sure there are millions of people who are relocated from the South, and you are
Mhm.
going to go to their events and their spaces and their places, and you're going to connect with those people too. So we're not only going to do, like we talked about professionally, that's going to be one way, because it doesn't mean that
Okay.
everyone in LA is not traditional, doesn't follow those values. But if we want to be more specific and more targeted, and you already said that there's something that's key to you and important to you and you're not finding it, that's their culture. We're not going to down them for their culture, but we're going to have to adapt.
Right.
So you might have to find you a nice southern boy in LA.
Overstood. Come on, Alison.
This is what I do professionally.
Hello.
AlineWithAllison.com. Testimonials everywhere. This is what I do. Come on, stop playing.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, so as we wrap up, what lingering questions or concerns or thoughts? Nothing too minor, nothing too major, anything. What's going on? What are you thinking?
Um, I do have the apparel thing, well, issue, because I try not to. I'm curvy on the body, like the body's nice, but I try not to put too much out there
Yes.
because I don't like
The
the
wrong
the
attention.
rhetoric. Yes, and it's even in the athletic wear, it's ridiculous. So
Okay.
like trying to find a happy medium of like, hey, I'm still girly, but um, don't holler at me like that. Like
So
still
so this is what you're
attractive.
gonna do. The rule of thumb that I've heard from stylists is that you're going to show off one body part and only one for every outfit that you have on. So that means that if you have on cleavage, or if you have cleavage that's showing, right, then that means that whatever is on the bottom needs to be loose fitting. It should be like a A-line skirt, right? If you're showing off the legs today, that means you should have a high neckline. If you're showing off the curviness of the bottom, then that means the top should be covered. So you should be showing off one body part per outfit, and that would help to quell some of the attention that you don't desire. You're gonna get it regardless. Like I said, you can have on sweatpants and a baggy t-shirt and a scarf on. You're gonna get attention regardless. But if you're concerned about just too much, where it makes you uncomfortable, that's usually the rule of thumb. One, if it's a high slit, that means the neckline is tall. You get my point? The legs are out, that means you're gonna go with long sleeves. So one body part that you'll accentuate at a time.
Okay, overstood.
Okay.
Also, well, my age bracket, I'm about to start my second quarter. Is
I like that. I never heard that before. That's cute.
Oh yes. What is there an age bracket that maybe I should target, or should I just be open to who the person is as a human being?
So relatively speaking, I'm sure we've all heard, like, girls develop faster than boys, mature faster than boys. And I think that that's a fair thing even to adulthood. I just generally think that women tend to be very general, before they tear me up on every platform. Very generally, women tend to be a more mature and further along than men are. So I'm not a proponent. I mean, people find love at any age, but I'm not going to advertise to folks, go ahead and date some guy that's 10 years your junior. I would say max 2 or 3 years your junior, and then I would go no more than 10 years your senior. And the reason why I say no more than 10 years your senior is because you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you become a caretaker very early on in your life, right? So you're 35, he's 55. Even if he's a fit 55, 10 years down the line, now he's 65, right? Now we're having conversations about Social Security checks. Like, it's a little bit above like where you may be in your life right now, right? And then on top of the particular health concerns, again, young people can potentially not be healthy, but we all know as folks get older, they tend to become unwell. So I would say no more than 10 years your senior and no more than 3 years your junior.
Okay.
Relatively. Now, you may find a guy 5 years your junior and he is killing it. He's super mature. He knows exactly what he wants. Don't write someone off immediately, but relatively speaking, 3 years minus 10 years plus. No more than 3 years minus no more than 10 years plus.
Okay.
Okay. So Joanna, I want to thank you for being on the show. I hope that you got some valuable information to help you navigate the treacherous waters of your single season sometimes. Did you? Do you feel like you got something
Oh
good?
yeah, you hit every point that you gave me. I'm about to put into action. You'll get a DM later this week.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it. So thank you again for being on the show. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. So for our closing conversation, I hope that you guys were able to learn from Joanna in regards to what her non-negotiables are. She said it's really important that the guys that she dates have chivalry and some of that Southern charm that she's accustomed to. But we can't change Miami. We can't change Chicago. We can't change New York. We can't change LA. Instead, what we need to do is we need to be the ones who adapt appropriately. So you use the internet. You use your social circles so that you can find the people who are in alignment with you versus complaining potentially or trying to change the culture of where you are now. Folks, I'm so glad that you decided to tune in for this episode. I hope that you were able to extrapolate something of value that you can apply during your single season. Have a good one.